Very lucky this week to be joined by Áine Tighe from the Fremantle Football Club. Áine, thanks very much for your time today.
Yeah, no worries. Try to be on board.
We'd love to be talking about a dominant performance from the weekend, but it hasn't quite worked out like that. Unfortunately, another injury sidelined you for the time being. I guess it's not the start you wanted to your second season over in Perth.
Yeah, no, for sure. I guess I've been a bit unfortunate on the injury side of things the last couple of months, but no, thank God so far the rehab has been going on track and going well so far. So yeah, you never know. I guess what will happen at the end of the season. We'll keep working hard and see what happens.
We'll try and lighten up this interview, but I guess we'll get the tough questions out of the way straight away. So I guess you did your ACL last year and got back to recovery, and then in one of the practice games leading into the season, just hurt your knee once again. Not quite as bad, I don't believe, but with the short AFLW season, the times may not sort of meet up. But hopefully, fingers crossed, you can get back out there this year. How's the prognosis been?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess that's the thing with the women's season. It's just the games being coming thick and fast, and the season being so short. You're under that bit more pressure. But yeah, I guess timeline so far we're kind of going well in terms of recovery and hitting the milestones so far. So yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll try and shave a week or two off if we can here and there, and see what happens come the end of the season. Hopefully, if the girls continue on their streaks, get down towards finals, you never know what might happen.
Yeah, just I suppose we'd be interested to see how does your week look compared to the main squad. Let's say, is there a couple of girls in your position rehabbing and recovering? Are you working part of the main group or off to the side? You're still involved in all the meetings? Do you go to the games? I suppose it's really interesting to see how that works for you in terms of what the typical AFLW week looks like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it'd probably be obviously a little bit different to the main group, but a lot of the sessions we'd still be involved, I guess, as much as you can be. So we were in the club there this evening doing just the girls were doing recovery and gym sessions. So we'll still get stuck in, do our gym sessions, do our rehab. We were in some line meetings, some review meetings, and just kind of general education and stuff we're all still part of. Then the main sessions are obviously a bit different. Most of the girls will be, anyone that's obviously able to train will be out in the park, but we generally have a crew in the rehab group. There's always a few heads popping up week to week. So we generally will do our own sessions if we can be involved in things, parts of the warm up and touch and things like that. We'll get involved in as much as we can. And then obviously as the girls go into the main session, we'll duck off and do our own work. We actually have Spring as one of the coaches in the club. He comes in, he's a boxing coach, so he normally puts us through our paces in terms of kind of a couple of boxing sessions and conditioning and things like that. And yeah, other than that, we get away, we work away on the bike and doing our rehab sessions as much as we can. But yeah, it's great, I guess, we're still involved as much as we possibly can. And then when we have to go do our own work, we do that as well. But yeah, then come, I guess, the weekends and game day. Obviously, you can only name a panel of 21, a couple of emergencies. So there's always, probably 7 or 8 bodies that are floating around. So we generally come together to watch it, be that at the ground, or if the girls are away, like they were for a couple of games last year, we'll all come together into a house and start screaming at the TV and shouting encouragement and doing anything we can.
How does your role look like with working with the coaches? I guess, ruck, pretty particular position. Who are you working with, and what are you sort of working on whilst you can through injury?
Yeah, so I guess last year we had Aaron Sandilands in as a coach, so he has obviously huge experience in terms of the men's game, a massive legend in the club. So we learned a huge amount off him, both on the track and off the track. Generally, we'd have kind of one-to-one review sessions with him the week after a game. So I'd sit down with Mim, our ruck, and Sandy, and just go through some vision and kind of bring that vision then out onto the track in terms of some drills we can do to improve positioning, or just ruck taps, different things like that. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, ongoing all the time. And then this year I've probably spent a bit more time with the forwards. So yeah, getting kind of a good insight into that side of the game as well, and just things like leading and running patterns and blocking and shepherding for each other, which is something I guess that wouldn't come naturally to us from a Gaelic background, but something small that can create a huge amount of space and create opportunities for the team as well. So yeah, there's definitely, in terms of the vision side of it, there's so much you can take and learn from each week.
I think one of the, actually, now that you mentioned it, one of our favorite pictures from last year was of you working with Aaron Sandilands, like, and I know at the time we were all here to go, wow, this is one of the legends of AFL, like, you know, and you said huge in every way, one of the biggest guys ever to play the game, you know, but did you even realize at the time who these people were, like, when you were starting to work with them? Obviously, you probably have a better awareness of it now.
Yeah, for sure, a better awareness now. Yeah, I guess once, like, when you were talking to everyone around the club and they were just so buzzing and excited to get him in to work with us, and you could feel the kind of excitement levels around the place. But yeah, once we got down to work with him, he was an absolute gent. He was brilliant. He was absolutely huge. Like, we'd be doing contests with him and, you know, pushing up against him, and it was just like you were leaning against a wall. But he was really, really good in terms of the one-on-one and just like tips, and he's obviously been there, done that for so many years and been so effective. So yeah, it was a massive learning experience and great for us, definitely, in the first year.
I guess, Áine, what's the silver lining of, you know, being injured? You may have learnt something that you otherwise may not have. You might have spent some time doing something that you may not have had time to do. So what's been the positive, I guess, of your time on the sidelines?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've learned a massive amount just in terms of the game. I guess when we come in, first of all, you know, you're just learning, everything is new, the terminology, the tactics, the formations, everything is just information overload nearly. So to be able to actually see it kind of obviously firsthand out in the field before I actually picked up the injury, but then going through the vision and the review week on week and seeing, I guess last year I kind of got a good insight into the mids and the work they do and how they try and set up structures. And then this year, it's, as I said, kind of more focused with the forwards and kind of just the key things that they're looking for week in, week out, and what's important in terms of obviously individual performances, but also as a group. I've taken a massive amount from it on that side of it. And on the other side, I guess the S&C side of it is something that I'd have a huge interest in personally anyway. So just being in that environment, and obviously the rehab side of it is a little bit different again, but yeah, being able to just ask questions and pick people's brains and see the kind of different programs and how one thing evolves into the next. That's definitely something that, I guess intrigued me, and I was definitely asking a few questions about different bits and pieces.
One of the things, of course, people are always intrigued by here at home as well is the life and what it's like over there. I suppose when you're off the pitch and you've got your downtime and stuff. So you've come from lovely Leitrim here in Ireland to Perth over there. How you find the city? What do you like about it? I'm sure it's an amazing place to live. And what do you do in the downtime when you're not officially at the club and stuff?
Yeah, Perth is absolutely fab. It's actually, it's probably smaller than I expected coming over first. Last year we were kind of expecting this big concrete jungle, but it's nothing like that. It's really chilled, really relaxed vibe. Loads of Irish over here as well, so that's really nice. It's kind of almost like a home away from home at times, but the weather and the beaches definitely make day to day an awful lot easier. Just head down, get a coffee in the morning, go for a stroll on the beach, and it's a little bit different from the experience you'd have at home anyway. But then outside of that, we generally try and work kind of a little bit part-time as well. So we run clinics for the club, going out to schools, and we've done a couple of summer camps and things like that. So it's nice. I guess my background is teaching, and I've always kind of enjoyed coaching and working with kids. So being able to still do that over here is nice, even though sometimes they're teaching us bits and pieces when we're trying to transfer the skills across. But it's really enjoyable to be able to get out there, and as soon as they see you coming in the uniform and the purple, they get so excited. So you get a good buzz off that during the day too.
We're always very jealous of seeing the sunsets and all the pictures on Instagram, the beaches and stuff, but it definitely looks a bit more like Leitrim in Ireland there at the weekend for the game, with the rain lashing down for most of it. So I don't know, was that a help or not to all Irish girls? But fantastic.
Yeah, the last 3 days have been a bit like that. It's been bucking down, but it won't last for too long. We know that's for sure. A couple of days now, we'll be back up to the high 30s, I'd say. We'll be looking for it back.
I'm just laughing now because I look out the window and it's snowing. So we're quite a bit different. But I guess, how have you, last year you had Kate Flood over with you, and this year you sort of gone out the solo trip. How have you found that? Is it a challenge you've embraced? I guess knowing the club and knowing the environment you walk into is a huge help. But I guess also there's the three girls over at West Coast. Do you talk to them, or are they like the men's, and you don't sort of cross paths from one side of town to the other?
Yeah, no, we definitely do. We meet up for coffee and breakfast and everything every couple of weeks. So yeah, no, for sure they're a great help. It's nice having that. I guess just people going through the same kind of experiences, and they obviously have come from the same experiences back home. So yeah, we meet up fairly regularly and chat about everything over here in terms of AFL and obviously the Gaelic back home. But I'm lucky enough, I've kind of family over here as well. So I have a cousin based over here, and he had a little baby boy there just last year. He just turned 1. So yeah, if ever you're getting homesick, you can just nip up there and get a few cuddles from the little man, and that settles everything down.
Obviously, as well, you've probably seen there's greater excitement here at home this time around. Obviously, we're always following you and all the Irish girls across the last few years, but TG Car now are broadcasting the season. They're showing a deferred game every Saturday evening at 5 o'clock and a highlight show every Monday night showing all 7 matches, which is absolutely fantastic. And I know the team at Sport, TG Car, have been working on that for the last couple of years. Again, it's not something that just happened overnight, but that's huge, I suppose, in terms of exposure to the game here. It's a great help for us, but even for all you girls over there now, to be able to, your family and friends here at home, to be able to see games, sit down on a couch on a Saturday evening, as opposed to getting up and watching the tablet at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Have you got much feedback from that? There's a great buzz here for sure in terms of extra people getting interested in the sport and following the games.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely transferred across. The amount of people that have kind of gotten in touch and said they're following it and said they're watching it and they're really excited to obviously see the games and follow week to week has been massive. So that the coverage has been unbelievable. I think TG Carr, in terms of raising the profile of female sport across the last 15, 20 odd years, obviously through Ladies Gaelic and then through this, has been absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, it's a massive boost. I'm getting an awful lot of text trying to figure out the rules, which is, I think, confusing some people. They're like, what's happening here? Why is that a free? What's going on here? But no, it's absolutely brilliant to see the level of coverage and interest back home. People, obviously with lockdown, it's tough at the moment. So just to give people, something to follow and get stuck into, and the fact that it's female sport, it's all the better. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And actually, interesting that you said that. We've got WhatsApp groups with our own teams here at home, obviously, and just when the games are on, we have the same thing going off. Like, what was that free for? Why was this? Why was that? So it's great people trying to figure out the rules and stuff and what's happening. But yeah, really good. And obviously, the game, the highlight show last weekend had commentary on scale across one of the games as well, which is really surreal to listen to. But it's fantastic to hear it. Yeah.
I was just going to ask about I guess you're in a fortunate position. Your club is fancy to make finals and go pretty deep into the finals. So you do have an extra couple of weeks up your sleeve, fingers crossed, to get back and get playing. But I guess what's your plans after the season? Are you going to come straight back to Ireland and try and play in the Gaelic season, or what's your sort of plan beyond this season?
Yeah, I think it just kind of depends, to be honest, obviously in terms of the rehab and the injury, see how I'm going. With kind of visas and things like that. Obviously with COVID, it kind of throws a bit of a spanner in the works in terms of planning things. So yeah, to be honest, we're just going week to week out here because we kind of don't know what's going to be around the next corner. So yeah, fingers crossed, get back to full fitness hopefully, and then see where we are at the end of the season really.
I'm going to also touch on your experience of playing with Mike and training with Mike and preparing through the AFL Ireland and Europe systems and taking part in those tournaments. So I guess, how has that helped you sort of get ready for what you've been through and get ready to hopefully play a couple of games towards the end of this season?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, it's been massive. Mike has been unbelievable support to us across the last 2 years. I think just even from the very first kind of couple of skill sessions, just getting used to the ball and teaching us how to drop it properly, how to strike it properly, and yeah, it's been unbelievable help from where we're starting off, because when we started out, I guess first of all we kind of hadn't a clue what we were doing and what the rules were, what we were supposed to be doing. So yeah, no, it's been massive. Even also playing in the competitions back home, the whole through the games, Mike is kind of coaching us through it, even though he's obviously umpiring and refereeing as well, which is huge in terms of learning the rules of the game. But yeah, I think even last year when we obviously headed across to London for the European Championships, that chance to actually get to play full pitch, 18-a-side, full rules, that was unbelievable help before coming out here, because I think without that it would have definitely been a huge step up to come straight into pre-season and straight into that kind of obviously professional environment. But yeah, I think that definitely gave us a huge head start in terms of getting stuck in then straight away when we did land across here.
And I suppose you had an interesting build-up. I suppose you obviously played a full season with West Clare Waves in the Harvey Norman Premiership and won everything there was to win. I know you're very humble, but like best and fairest, golden boot, all of that, outstanding across the whole competition. That was obviously in a nines format, but probably good to, as you say, learn some of the basics of the game, some of the rules, get some touches and stuff like that. Another point that I always like to make, I suppose, and it's great when the AFLW girls have played with us here before they go over or when they come back, is the benefit to the other players in all the other teams. Like all the girls here to play from whatever level they're at, absolutely love having the likes of Áine down, playing alongside her or against her or whatever it is for a few days across the autumn. So that's great for us as well. But obviously, you went from playing West Clare Waves in the Premiership. We did obviously the skill sessions, and we did some work with Trent and Darren at the club there, and we had Áine and Joanne down, or Kate and Joanne down last year, and you were down to UL with us this year, all fantastic. The transition into 18-a-side in London, I suppose that's something that a lot of people don't get that chance to play any 18-a-side before they go to one. So I know it was very condensed, and it was into a week, and it was 4 or 5 matches, and it was a hugely successful week for Ireland and for yourself as well, being named on the team of the tournament. But definitely getting some of that 18-a-side experience, I think, is a big help, and there's definitely a big difference between 9s format and 18s in terms of, you know, position, structures, space, lack of time, everything.
Yeah, like as you said, the kind of smaller structure, I guess the 9s and 7-a-side is great because you're getting so many touches of the ball. It's so frequent. We're getting ruck contests, you're getting, you know, shots on goal. Everything is, you know, just, I guess the touches you're getting is multiplied by 4, 5, 6 than you'd get in a normal game. But yeah, to get into that full size, even the full sized oval, the full 4 quarters, you know, played at full length and everything, I think that was a massive help. Just like that, to get your bearings in terms of the space you're actually going to have and the amount of time you're actually going to have on the ball, you know, things like the inside 50s and stuff like that you just don't get, I guess, in the smaller game. Yeah, it was definitely a huge help. I think if we didn't have that probably coming straight over here, I think it definitely would have been a bigger step up. So yeah, that was definitely, I know personally, invaluable for the transition across.
Personally, Áine, what's been the biggest challenge? Has it been that step up to the 18s? Has it been the physicality? Has it been the transition away from home? What's been the biggest challenge that you've faced?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably the tactical kind of setup of, probably especially with the mids last year, in terms of the structures. Everything is very much, you know, structured in terms of where we want girls to be, where we want the balls to go. So I'd say that side of it has probably been the biggest difference. I think like the physicality, that side of it I've actually really enjoyed, because you kind of, you know, I think you get a chance to really kind of revel or thrive in that environment. You know, I think a couple of the Irish girls, the likes of Aileen Gilroy, her tackles with North, like Sinead Goldrick with Melbourne as well, you know, they're just really enjoying the chance to actually get to use that physicality, probably in a way that we don't get to in Gaelic back home. So yeah, that was definitely something I enjoyed. But yeah, I guess just sometimes the terminology and kind of how they phrase things and set things up in terms of the tactics is probably the biggest thing you had to learn and get your head around. And obviously the rules are kind of, yeah, that's an ongoing thing really. There's so much to go there. But yeah, other than that, like the physicality side of it and the fitness side of it, I think in fairness, the Irish girls are showing they can definitely hold their own on that side of it.
Mike, anything else that you wanted to add?
I don't think so, Jim. No, other than that, obviously we're really hoping we can see Áine at some stage across the season. I know she's been terribly unlucky with the injuries. She's a very positive person, and like, fair play to her, she hasn't put her head down at any stage. So I think myself, everyone here at AFL Ireland Women's, everyone here in Ireland in general, is just egging for that first game. And if it comes this season, fantastic. If it doesn't, there's no doubt you'll be back sooner rather than later. And if you do come back to Ireland in the summer, hopefully we can catch up with you again and get you out and play a few more games with our girls here, and maybe stick on a green jersey again or whatever. All things going well. But no, just fantastic to chat to you again. And hope everything goes well for you across the next few weeks. And the Dockers are looking awesome at the minute.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, now fingers crossed. Yeah, as I said, the girls can keep going, get us into finals, and yeah, we'll see where we end up.
Best of luck, Áine. Some of the best ruckmen of all time have just snuck themselves in right at the right time of finals. So I've got every confidence in you.
Totally, yeah. Fingers crossed.